Coming up today on the Nice Guys on Business.
I think one of the biggest things that gets in people's way is self-doubt. We doubt every decision that we make. We look back and we're like, are we in the right business? Is this the right business model? Do I have the right system? Do I know enough to be able to coach people? And all of this self-doubt, they don't do anything for you.
You know what, Stan? If you want me to wear 37 pieces of flair, like your pretty boys over there, the Nice Guys on Business, why don't you just make the minimum 37 pieces of flair? Go from where you are now to where you could be. Get expert tips to grow your business, to be more productive and more efficient, whether you're trying to build influence, grow your community, or make it rain. Best-selling author of Nice Guys Finish First, Doug Sandler, can lead the way. The Nice Guys on Business is produced by Turnkey Podcast Productions. Now, here's your host, Doug Sandler.
Today's Nice Guy story is truly inspiring. Iman Aghay is a serial entrepreneur, a best-selling author, and a world-class speaker. He's also a TEDx speaker, and Iman arrived in Vancouver in 2009 with a limited knowledge of English, no network, no job. He created a marketing system that combined the most effective online and in-person strategies. And really what I love most about my personal experience with Iman and his company is that his team doesn't just talk theory. We got on the field. We were playing ball almost immediately with his programs. And I was, Nice Guy community, you've heard me share this story before. I've been totally marketing funnel resistant. And I got it done in a weekend with Iman's team. And check this out, Nice Guy community. Again, within 30 days of leaving the live masterclass that I attended in Vancouver, I made $2,000 and I had it in my pocket in less than a month. So today, the company he founded, Success Road Academy, has become one of the largest information marketing training centers in the world. And Iman has built a business with over 15,000 business owners in his seminars, events, webinars, group coaching, and one-on-one coaching sessions. He founded Entrepreneurs International Network, which is a group of business networks in 5 countries with over, get this, 120,000 members. He's taught his system and helped thousands of people to build successful businesses for themselves. I'm so excited and stoked to have him here. Iman, welcome to the Nice Guys on Business podcast.
Thank you very much, Doug, for having me here. I'm super excited for being with you.
I'm happy to have you here also. And again, I really want to emphasize that what the thing that I really loved most about taking your class, and I want to get into your story too, but I want to at least share this right out of the gate, is we weren't just talking theory about how to build a marketing funnel in that particular case or how to do anything in any case. We talked like, okay, action items. Let's actually put this thing together. Your instructors worked with me hand in hand to help put stuff together. And right out of the gate, a couple $1,000s on my first couple of webinars. And I was totally stoked, man.
Yeah, well, that's actually really good. And I'm glad that you shared that with me. Now, one of the things a few years ago hit me was that I was thinking about the whole industry as online marketing industry and think about the different things that is happening. And realize one of the biggest challenges that we have in the industry is that we have mentors or so-called mentors who are teaching people things they don't really do,
Mm-hmm.
Like they are running Facebook ads teaching people how to do YouTube. They are running, for example, YouTube ads telling people, YouTube ads to a funnel telling people how you can build a business without a funnel. Or they are doing webinars telling people how they can make money from public speaking. Right? I looked at it very closely and I realized, most people are teaching things that they are not really doing in their own business. And I kind of decided to make this one of my goals, that I teach exactly what I do to people, and what I do, and I share that with my students, and just be an open book, and that made a huge, massive difference. So when people come to our event seminars, for example, you went to our funnel building event, and we don't give people a hypothetical funnel anymore. We give people the exact funnel that I use in my own business. And that has started making a huge, massive difference, because now it's something that I've tested over and over and over. And it's really something that I'm using today in my own business. I'm sharing it with my students. And that's when students started getting massive results. And we started kind of doing it in a much easier way, because we didn't need to create made up things. We really were using things that we were using in our own business. So it never felt like we are coaching anymore. it felt like we were sharing what we were doing, and kind of made it 10 times easier for my team, made it 10 times easier for myself in terms of like I felt more in integrity with what I'm sharing with people. And people start seeing the difference between us and the other companies, and so that's what kind of get more and more people interested in following what I teach, and kind of started making a big difference in our students' lives and their clients' lives.
And your products and services, they are truly amazing. And this is not a sponsored episode, Nice Guy Community. This is just me actually just sharing how cool I thought that Iman's programs are and were. And we'll come back and talk a little bit more about the programs. But I want to get into your story a little bit because I think it is so inspiring for those that feel like if they have an obstacle in their way, wait until you hear some of the obstacles that Iman actually had to go through in order to build his business. And I'll let you share the story, but I'm really curious that how you decided, in 2009 or whenever it was that you said, "Hey, I'm going to dig my heels in and stay here in the U.S." How you had the daring enough to say, "I'm not going to go back to where I'm from. I'm going." You had no money in the bank, you had no business, and you had just a goal, but you really didn't have any of the tangible results yet. So why don't you share a little bit about your story and why it is that you're here in the U.S. and why you stayed?
Absolutely. So I, in 2007, 2008, I was looking at people like Brian Tracy, Tony Robbins, Oprah, like people who have big stages, who are right in front of people, are inspiring people, are changing people's lives. And I was looking at them and was thinking, I really want to have a business like them. I really want to be a person who is inspiring people, changing people's lives, and making a massive difference in the world. And I wanted to become an international professional public speaker. Now, back then, I was in Iran and I couldn't speak English. And with an Iranian passport, you can't travel to many countries. It's actually very limited. You got to you got to get visa for every country pretty much you want to go to, and kind of pretty much it's impossible to be an international professional public speaker.
Right.
And so that's why we decided to move to North America, and we moved to North America in 2009. I landed in Vancouver, BC, in Canada, actually, and then from there, we were hoping that our money follow us, so it can actually fund us for a few years to help me set up, and kind of learn English and kind of learn a little bit of the culture and like how the systems work here and all of those things. But then 3 days later, after we landed, we realized that our money is not going to follow us. So what we were counting on a big time actually to come and support us, we realized we're not going to get access to it. So that's actually where things got a little bit shaky, because we were like, okay, so we are here and we don't have any family, we don't have any friends, we don't have any connections or network. I couldn't even speak English. And then 2009 was right after 2008 recession. So I started looking for jobs and applying for one job after another, and nobody was hiring anyone. And I was the least qualified person to be hired. So lots of qualified people were out of work. And I kept dropping off resume after resume after resume. And for a few months, not a single person even called me back to do a simple interview over the phone. When I went to Walmart to drop off my resume, the person who was there said, "I'm not supposed to tell you this, but over the last 2 weeks, we had over 500 resumes dropped off here,
Oh my God.
and we are not even hiring." Um, and so that was the situation. And we got to one point that one day I came home from dropping off my resumes, opened the mailbox, and there was this bill in the mailbox that was $1,000 bill. And when I went to pay it, I realized we only have $2,500 left in the bank account. Now, the significance of $2,500 was that it was good enough money to buy 2 one-way tickets to go back to Iran. And I was looking at it as like, okay, I can either pay this $2,500 and buy 2 one-way ticket to go back and give up on our dream, or we can pay this $1,000 bill and we're going to have another $1,500 left that after paying the rent and buying some food, we're probably not going to have a dime by the end of the month to pay the rent or buy any food or anything like that, and we're going to be homeless. And I couldn't make that decision on my own. So I went to my wife and I told her the situation. And I said, what do you think we should do? And what she said next changed everything in our life. She said, Iman, have we ever given up on any of our dreams? And I said, no. And she said, so why do we give up on our dream now? Pay the bill, pay the rent, and we'll do whatever it takes to bring your dream to reality. And, you know, your life changes when a person believes in you far more than you ever believed in yourself.
Yeah.
So we paid the rent, we paid the bill, and the countdown to become homeless started. So 30 days, 29 days, 28 days. And it went all the way down to 17 days away from becoming homeless. And that was the time that I woke up and I realized, I'm insane. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And that's exactly what I was doing. Every day I was applying for one job after another, and I was expecting to find a job or get somebody to hire me in the next 17 days. And I looked back and said, so over the last few months, nobody hired you. Why do you think that over the next 17 days, somebody hires you? And even if they do, the first paycheck is going to come 2 weeks later where you're already homeless. And that moment I realized I'm already homeless and I don't know it yet. And there's a time in your life that you say failure is not an option, and that was the moment for me. I'm like, no, I'm not going to be homeless. I'm not going to become homeless. And that was the day that I decided to believe in myself. And I said, if you don't give it to me, I'll build it myself. And that day I decided to start my company. I said, I'm going to have a web design company. I had no idea of how to design a website. I had an MBA in online business, so I knew how to do online marketing, but I didn't know how to, design a website or code or anything like that. But I was like, you know what? I got to figure it out some way or another. And 3 days later, I found my first client who paid me $1,800. And that payment paid our rent and bought us some food. And I started learning how to design website. And I was working from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. finding clients. And then at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., I would go home, have dinner, and start sitting there and start learning web design from YouTube and reading books and all of those type of things and forums online because I didn't even have money to pay for the classes. So I was learning like how to do that till 2 a.m., 3 a.m. And I would sleep, wake up at 6 a.m., get ready, and then go back out by 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So I could actually be in networking events. At 7 a.m., 8 a.m. to be BNIs, and then after that to the next place and the next place. And that's how I started the business as the first business I built. And there is a whole story behind that I took that business to 6 figures. And then people started asking me how I did it. And I started coaching 1 and 2, 5 and 10 people. And that started putting me on the stage and sharing with people my model and system. And then my coaching business got much bigger than my web design business. So I dropped the web design business and started coaching. And then that turned into one of the largest coaching information marketing academies in the world. And then kind of that led to Entrepreneurs International Network. And a few years later, I'm running 3 7-figure companies. And that all of them focus on helping entrepreneurs build a business that is aligned with their life purpose. And help them to get their message out and share it with the world and change people's lives.
It's an incredible story, and I've heard it a couple of times. And I watched your TEDx talk about your story and your overcoming the obstacles. And so I guess where I would ask you, or the area that I would really try to get you to focus in on a little bit is if there is somebody that's in our community, and maybe the answer is obvious and just out there right now. But I'd like you to just spell it out for somebody that's in our community. Somebody that's in our community that is going through this struggle, whatever that struggle is, may not be quite as intense or extreme like yours. What advice would you give to somebody that's in our community that's just going through the normal life challenges, relationship challenges, building a business challenges, team challenges? How would you advise them, or what would you advise them as they're going through these struggles to kind of push through them in order to get to the next step, which may be, the first step on the road to success for them?
I think one of the biggest things that gets in people's way is self-doubt. Is that we doubt every decision that we make. We look back and we're like, are we in the right business? Is this the right business model? Am I a right boss? Do I have the right system? Do I know enough to be able to coach people? And all of this self-doubt, they don't do anything for you, you know? And the thing is that many times people don't realize, like, there are lots of other people who are building their business and the business looks very successful or is very successful. They don't really know what they are doing, like in the core of it. And every day they come back to business and they're like, how can we make this better? So, the thing is that many times people get in their own way by having the self-doubt. And instead of focusing on, okay, this is our situation and how can we make it better? They focus on, am I doing it the right way, or should I, do it differently? And, they get stuck in this thing instead of looking at how they improve themselves every single day. And that's what I was doing actually when I was looking for jobs, because I knew how to build a business, but then I had the self-doubt that what if I don't understand the culture? What if I don't understand the language? What if I don't understand this and that? And then when I decided to step up for myself and just going to build something that I wasn't given by the society, I technically what I overcame was my self-doubt, and then I was like, okay, I gotta go out there and I gotta build this and I gotta improve as I go. And that changed everything. So I would say, no matter what the situation you are, just get over that self-doubt, self-negative talk that you have, and you're just kind of reconsidering everything and thinking about all of those things. And then follow a step-by-step system. Now, there are lots of step-by-step systems out there that are effective. And it depends on what type of challenge you have, right? So, for example, one of the biggest challenges that people have is on not understanding how to create a package that people want to buy, not understanding how to create a system and offer that is effective, is life-changing, and at the same time makes an impact in the world and helps you build a successful business. And, there are systems out there, like, for example, like in our business, we have a course called Marketing Message Blueprint, right? Mm-hmm. And in that, for example, like it's a step-by-step system. So first you figure out your audience, then you figure out your vision, then figure out your offer, then you figure out your ask, and then now you have a package, right? There are systems out there in the world that you can just follow it step by step. And instead of having the self-doubt, just focus on them and improve what you do and get results and then move on to the next place. Another thing that I see that is happening right now in the world is that lots of people are taking classes and courses, and without getting results, they believe they know how to do it. So, for example, we are talking to people and they say, I know how to do Facebook ads. Like we're talking about Facebook ads. The person says, I know how to do Facebook ads. And we're like, so how many Facebook ads do you have run? Oh, I haven't run Facebook ads, but I've taken class on Facebook ads, Or they say, I know how to create an online course, or I know how to coach. And we're like, so how many people have you coached? How many people have you have an online course you have created? Oh, I haven't created one, but then I have taken a course on how to create one. Okay. So I have a qualifying system for that. I always tell my students, I say, if you haven't generated at least $100,000 from what you think you know nothing about it.
That is a good barometer. I love that, because I do talk to a number of people who not only come on our show and begin to share or want to come on the show and begin to share what their adventure and their story is. But yeah, they don't even have a business, that they're just getting started now. I'm thinking you're promoting a business and I appreciate the fact that somebody's coming on and wants to promote their business, but how do you expect me to turn over my community who trust me to share positive aspects of somebody's business if they haven't even built a business yet?
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, like, if you think, Facebook ads, you haven't made $100,000 from it, don't say, I know Facebook ads. Say, I'm learning Facebook ads,
Right.
And follow the things that is necessary to become amazing at it, And one of the other things is, especially for people who are in a place that need to get lots of experience, put yourself in the situations that you can get lots of experience as fast as you can. For example, if you're a coach and you haven't coached a lot of people yet, instead of trying to create lots of packages and expensive packages and sell lots of expensive packages, what I would suggest is get 5 or 10 clients that work with you either for free or $500 a month or $300 a month. Doesn't matter. It's not about the money. at the beginning, it's about you gaining the experience. When I started my web design company, I designed 10 websites for free. Why? Because I needed to have samples of work, right? So when I could go to clients, I could actually show them these websites that I've designed. So beside the clients that I had, like that were paying me like a little bit of money that would design their websites, I would go out there and find, like, for example, go to classes, and when I was in a class, I would get up and say, like, anybody who wants a website here, I would design a website for you for free if you give me the content of the website in the next 5 days, right? Because I needed to create sample of jobs right away, right? And like within a month or two, I had like 10 websites that I had designed. So now when I was sitting with a client, the client would ask me, okay, do you have any samples? I could go to the samples of the jobs I had designed,
Mm-hmm.
and that would help me to get more actual paying clients. When you start my coaching business, I started coaching. Actually, the first coaching program I did, it was in 2011. I invited 8 people and I taught them for free for 8 weeks. And my only thing for them, like when I was inviting them, I said, okay, I only want one commitment from you, that you show up in every class unless you're dead or on your way to hospital. And they said, sure. And they showed up in every single class for 8 weeks. And that was actually how I put together my foundational content. Like first class, I showed up and the class, I said, I'm going to teach you guys online marketing. I said, I want to teach you for 8 weeks on online marketing. So everybody came in. I didn't know, like I didn't have I knew online marketing, but I didn't have the content, didn't have the syllables, didn't have the structure, anything, right? It was my first time teaching. And when people came to the class, I said, what do you want to learn? And what's the best outcome you are hoping for by the end of these 8 weeks? And whatever they wanted to learn, I started putting it on pieces of paper and put it on different on the wall, right? So by the end of the 1 hour that I got everybody to share what they wanted to learn, I had these 12 pieces of paper, like flip chart papers, all over the walls, that these are the things that people want to learn. I got those pieces of papers, I came home, I put them on the wall, and I started creating content based on things they wanted to learn.
Right.
Right?
I love that. Learn from your community. It's such a great thing. And even a small community of 8 will teach you all, instead of you guessing what you think that your market is going to want, let them tell you what they want.
Exactly, right? And then next 8 weeks, I coached them on what they wanted to learn, and they started getting results that I didn't even know it's possible to achieve. Like one of my students, is it okay if I share some of the things that they achieved?
Absolutely.
One of the students, and this is the first time I'm teaching, right? First time I'm teaching, I had one of my students, his name was Roger Killen, and he by that time, for the past 12 years, he was coaching, and the biggest class that he had was 12 people. So after 12 years, the biggest class he had was 12 people. And then during the 8 weeks, when we started coaching all of these different things about the funnels and systems, all of those things, he put together a 540 people event in 45 days. And I was looking at it, I was like, holy crap, I have never done a 540 people event. I didn't even know it's possible to do a 540 people event in 45 days. But then he got my training and he went and implemented it in his own business. And I supported him every step of the way, right? So I helped him to put together the website, to put together the systems and modules, all of those pieces. And then he put together this 540 people event that led to another 137 people course. That one led into a 40 people high-end mastermind.
My gosh.
I was like, holy crap. Like, I didn't know, right? Like another one of my students, Gobinder Gill, like he was trying to get into the corporate speaking and he couldn't get himself a talk. By the end of the 8-week class, he was booked for the next 6 months solidly to deliver talks and workshops in corporations. I had never booked myself for any corporations to talk. But then Gobinder learned from me. And these samples of work became my testimonials that I used next time when I was teaching I was doing an event called Marketing Mastery Summit. So when I got on the stage of Marketing Mastery Summit, I shared the result of this high-end program that I taught. And this time I shared all the testimonials and the cases of my students. And then I charged for that class. Now, those students who paid and came to that class, I remember I sold 8 packages at $2,000. One of them never went through. So 7 people actually showed up in the class. So the first point is like I made $14,000, right?
Yeah.
That was the first time I made 14K from my coaching. That kind of became the foundation of Success Road Academy and the Leaders Academy, Leaders School of Business. And I mean, like that was like 2011, and this is like, for me, it's like long time ago, but now those students that started back then, right now, several of them are running multiple 6-figure and 7-figure companies, right?
Amazing. I mean, it is amazing. I hadn't heard the detail that you just went into before. I knew that it started with a very small group of students in a coaching program, but I had no idea that that one of them went on to become this amazing success. And certainly, when you have a student that's in your class that is exemplary, doing a great job, building it, that's got to be a proud moment for you as a business leader and a business owner. It's almost like you want their success more than your success, because they'll take you to the next level just by your level of excitement.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's the biggest motivation for me is the success of my students. Like when I come to work and I always tell people that my passion is seeing that shine in people's eyes when they get that aha moment,
Mm-hmm.
when they get that hope, they see like, oh my God, I wasn't thinking about this. And then they go and make that difference. That shine in their eyes is my biggest passion. It's just something that I want to see every single day in people.
So tell our community a little bit about the services that Success Road Academy and the marketing training centers around the world are do, because I think one of the things that people maybe get out of your story is, okay, he had a lot of obstacles, he overcame his obstacles, he taught us that just stay in the game long enough, just have a dream, have a goal that's big enough, but you actually did it. You not only you got through those obstacles, but then you created this amazing business as well. So share a little bit about Success Road Academy.
Yeah, so technically, what we do at Success Road Academy is we teach people how to build a successful coaching consulting business as a leader. So the model that we teach people is how to define what's the best system, the best package, the best product that they can create to bring it out. Okay, and then after that, I personally believe the first foundational piece that you want to add to your business is an online program, because when you have this online program, you can actually teach people anywhere in the world without you investing your personal time at the kind of like a beginner's level.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, how they lead it to a 3-day live event, how they run the 3-day live event, or run it to a consultation session over the phone. Doesn't need to be a 3-day live event. And from there, go to a higher end mastermind program or mentorship program. And we have a very kind of specific training at every step of the way for this. One of the things that I'm really well known for, obviously, is our online course creation program and our marketing message blueprint program. And I always tell people, like, one of the best places to begin is always on the marketing message blueprint, because what that allows people to do is that allows people to define their exact vision of what they want to create in the world. Because one of the reasons that stops people from taking action is they don't have that big vision of how their business needs to look like, all right?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have that clarity for themselves, so they can't communicate that with their clients. They don't have the clarity on the vision of what the clients can achieve when they work with them. So they can't communicate that with their client. And when they can't communicate with that client, then the client don't want to work with them, right? So through the marketing message blueprint, which is our most foundational course, that doesn't matter, even if you are having a 6-figure company or a 7-figure company, still like this can take the person to the next level. Obviously, it can help people who are starting absolutely from scratch, but even it helps people like with that are 7 figures and 6 figures to get clarity over their marketing pieces so they can communicate better and put their vision in a bigger way out there, and then teaches them how to put it into an offer. So that's one of the biggest foundational pieces, one of the biggest things that I'm known for on helping people to create that foundational offer and the marketing message. and it's the greatest place for people to begin with.
So, Nice Guy Community, if you want to get a hold of Aman's programs, just get to successroadacademy.com. We'll make sure we put a link in the show notes for that. Again, it's successroadacademy.com. No matter what program you take, I can assure you that you're in good hands. I had a chance to, through a series of unfortunate events in Aman's life with his back, he was not able to teach the class that he was scheduled to teach. And what was when I was attending his funnel building class in funnel building class in Vancouver, and his team took over. And they did an amazing job. I could not imagine that it could have even been any better. And the leader, Iman, wasn't even there. That had to be, again, a very proud moment for you to watch your team in action and come through. And I know you have hundreds of events that you do through the course of the year, and this was just one of them. But just talk for a moment just about your feelings about your team through that weekend that you weren't able to attend.
Yeah, actually, so what Doug is referring to is that we had this event in Vancouver, and the night before the event, I sneezed, and I've been struggling with my back for a year or two, and kind of like it was in stress already, and the week before that, I'd hurt it while exercising, and anyhow, I sneezed, and then something in my back popped. The next day, I couldn't stand up. I couldn't put my foot down, and by the end of the day, I was actually rushed to the hospital, and so I wasn't able to attend the event. However, my team. That's actually one of the biggest things that I believe, that your team need to be able to get to the place that they can replace you.
Right.
And lots of entrepreneurs have this ego that they think they shouldn't be replaceable, and I'm like, that's a dream that somebody can replace you, and so when I couldn't attend the event, my team members actually stood up and ran the entire event. I think I just taught it for like an hour in the morning online. So I actually, people sat in person in the class, and I was in bed from my hotel room, and zoomed in, and kind of taught it online while people were sitting in the class. And then after that, my team took over and taught the entire program while I was at the hospital.
It was amazing, and I felt so bad for you, Iman. I know that you wanted to be there and not feel like you weren't giving your true value to your attendees. But I'll tell you, you did give your true value to your attendees. You gave us your team, and you gave us your trust in your team. Rather than canceling the event, you went through with it, or your team went through with it. And I got to tell you, they did an amazing job. So no matter who you talk to on Iman's team, when you go to successroadacademy.com, Nice Guy Community, you'll get a winner. You'll get somebody that knows what they're doing. And if you get somebody that is unsure of an answer, they're going to tell you they're unsure, but they're going to get you the answer that you need at some point, even if it's not immediately. So Iman, hats off to you for creating such a great team with your those that are on your support staff.
Thank you very much. And I also want to share another thing with you and with your community. One of the things is that Marketing Message Blueprint is one of the courses that is a foundational piece to everybody's business. And you have a very great community that are listening to the podcast. And you and I actually didn't talk about this before the podcast. So I'd like to give a gift to every one of the one of your audience members that are listening to the podcast. Now, I'm not sure if you have the ability to do this. I think you do. But I would like to gift a Marketing Message Blueprint to all of your audience members, if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Is that okay with you?
Yeah, as long as you're okay if I go through it too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so what I like to do is that I'm going to give you a link to put that in your show description, if it's doable for you. Is it doable for you?
Absolutely. You can either put it in the chat box and I can throw it onto the show notes, or you can just share it right here and I can just make sure I get it down before we hang up.
Okay, I'll have to do that for you a little bit like kind of later.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll do that for you a little bit later, because we have to create an exclusive link for you guys.
Perfect.
But then what that gives you, that link will send you to a free webinar that the webinar explains to you what Marketing Message Blueprint is. So go through that training, understand what marketing message blueprint is. And if you will like what it is, at the end of that webinar, I'll give you a link to an instruction that on how you can get access to the entire course if you commit to finish it and you commit to study it. So I'm going to give the link to that, so you can actually go to the description of the show, or wherever you are actually listening to the show. Just go to the description and you can find that link. Sign up for that free webinar, and then from there, at the end of that, you will get access to the course, to the entire course for free if you commit to finish it to the end.
Awesome. Well, that is great. Yes, we will make sure we put that link. It'll be a special link that Iman is going to put in there, so we can track where the lead is coming from through our show notes. So just make sure you go to the link in the show notes and look for the marketing message blueprint link for the free webinar. Iman, thank you so much. That is very cool. And final question, since we're early in the year here in 2020, what goals are on your list for the year? World domination? What else do you want to accomplish in 2020, Iman?
Actually, it's a little bit simplifying this year for me. I ran quite a few number of events last year. As you know, I have 3 companies, and between the 3 companies, I ran too many events last year. And I'm simplifying it this year. So last year I did 22 events, and this year I just want to do 7. So it's kind of, I'm stepping back and kind of enjoying life a little bit more. In 2018, I actually stepped back entirely from business, and I kind of retired. Then I got bored and I came back. Then I just worked too much. So I think this year is creating that balance, that I don't let my passion get in the way of my life. You know, I call it death by passion. I'm like so passionate about, like building this business and helping people and working with people, that sometimes I lose track of I lose track of the other side of life. So
right. No, I
this
totally
year
I'm
trying to create the balance.
Totally get it. And with great team members and leaders like Brady and Sarah on your team, and Kat and Taryn and all those people that I had a chance to hang out with up in Vancouver, I know that you can kind of lay off the gas a little bit, let your team take over. And I'm always surprised whenever I stop doing something that I thought was a task that I should be doing, and I let my team take over. I always find that my business actually does better than when I was in it. So you could come back a little bit more from this less working and actually find that your business does better as a result of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. So Iman, thank you for being on the show, and thank you for sharing. I kept you a couple of minutes over, and I appreciate you you sharing your inspiration and your message with our Nice Guy community today. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Nice Guy community, never underestimate the power of nice. Again, special thanks to Iman. All of his information, including access to the free webinar that he's going to put on the marketing message blueprint and to Success Road Academy, that will all be in the show notes. Make sure you click on that special link to have access to the webinar. Steve O'Brien, go ahead and take us out of here.
For Doug Strickland, the Nice Guys on Business podcast, I'm Steve O'Brien. 130 plus episodes and still no residual check. Nice. Actually, not nice.